Did Jaylen Brown really get benched against the Brooklyn Nets? Did he have a good game or a bad game? I'm still trying to figure that out. Plus, where will Joe Mazzulla's lineup roulette settle? It's all right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Beantown, be ever ready. It's the C's. Who else could it be? What they gon' say now? Screaming like JT, Karalis. Recap the madness every game, every practice. Prime time, dapping D White on the sideline. Raining J's, how it started, raising banners, how we finished. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast, right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every day. Your team is the Boston Celtics. I talk about them Monday through Friday right here on the number one sports podcast network on the planet. It's the number one Celtics podcast on the planet. So thank you, everydayers, for making it that. This show is free. It's available everywhere. It's on YouTube. Get into the comments section. Share your thoughts with me. I'm John Karalis. If you're new to the show, I'm a beat writer covering the Celtics for Boston Sports Journal. I've been doing this job for about 20 years, 10 years on this podcast. Plus, I've got 2 books on the Celtics under my belt. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. New customers, you bet $5. If your bet wins, you get 300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Head over to FanDuel.com to get started. We're going to spend half of this show talking about Joe Mazzulla's lineups. The Celtics broke this game open against Brooklyn a couple nights ago with a lineup that has never played 1 second of basketball together. And I don't even know if they've played together in practice. That's how weird the lineup was. We'll talk about that in a little bit. We're going to start with Jaylen Brown because I still can't figure out if he had a good game or a bad game against Brooklyn. And then after the game, he talked about how he was it made it sound like he was benched. And I don't know if he really was. So that's why I got Tom Westerholm over here to help me figure this out. Tom Westerholm, everybody.
You got to bring on the experts for the big topics. And I'm here to really tell you definitively whether or not Jaylen Brown was benched.
All right. So was he?
No. I have no idea. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe.
Like maybe.
I didn't think so.
Sort of.
I don't think so.
Maybe.
Okay. All right. We'll settle on maybe. That's a good one.
A definitive maybe. No. So okay.
Yes. All right. Thanks for having me, man. I'll catch you next
week. Everybody. Tom Westerholm.
Thank you.
All right. So he comes out. All right. Let's before we get to that. Did he have a good game, a bad game? What was that from Jaylen?
You know, it's funny because I think, and this is going to be another massive cop out.
Also a very definitive. I don't know.
right. No, this is gonna be a bit of a cop out, I think. But to me, it's almost like Jaylen has kind of like. There's going to be games where he's really good. There's going to be probably some games where he's not so good. But I almost think to some extent he's evolved past the point of good, bad games with this team because he's just so integral to everything that they do. You know, like this season, he's just so important to every single thing that it's like, okay, if you don't, have 11 points on 32 shots, and if you don't have 50 points on 21 shots, then your game was just a Jaylen Brown game. And it's like, it's somewhere in that range, and you're really important to your team, and you're really good. And hey, your team, like last time we were talking about how everything's so results based these days, right? It's like, I don't know, the team won, and Jaylen was important to that win. Like, scored the most points, like put up some stats, played a ton in the second half, and did some stuff. So like, pretty good. I don't know.
Right. He was good. He was good, but also he was bad.
Yeah, he was pretty bad sometimes.
But also he was good sometimes.
But pretty good.
And so so that's was he good or bad? The answer is yes. And the way I put it in that, after the game was when 29-4-4 is like, then you're good. Then you're a really good basketball player. Because if you're putting up 29-4-4 and we can't figure out if you had a good game or not, then you're a pretty damn good basketball player, because that's a good game just in raw numbers before the analytics age. 30 years ago when I was in my 20s, if I dared at a bar to say that 29-4-4, and I was like, I don't know if he had a good game or not, it would have been like, get out. Just you're banned from this sports bar. Get on out. Or you're cut off because you're clearly drunk. But the 8 turnovers were the 8 turnovers. He looked tired. He looked like his head wasn't there for a lot of the game. And he admitted it after the game. It was like, I played like crap. And, he had to like tell himself to kind of like wake up, which brings me back to Saturday where the Celtics had practice. And I shared this on YouTube only, but because it was such an interesting quote, I want to play it here because I asked Jaylen directly about the pace. So the setup of this question was about the pace and like you wanted to play fast. Because Jaylen, you heard him. He'd been saying for the past 2 years, like, oh, we need to play faster. We need to play faster. He wants to play fast. And now here we are. He's the guy. And it's like, oh, you're still last in pace and you're still ISOing a whole lot. So my question was, were you surprised have you been surprised by anything so far this season? And here's what he had to say.
Scoring is a lot. It's a lot more effort than it was in the previous. Obviously we had a lot of options, but I just got to exert a lot more energy, play to play, offensively. Trying to find ways to get easier baskets, like baskets where I get closer to the rim, or I don't have to dribble the ball as much. But as of right now, game 13, game 14 has been every basket is it's energy, and I'm up for it. But it's more energy than.
I love that. I'm up for it. Like the way the inflection is like, look, I'm up for it, but it's a lot. He said everything is a lot of work. It's a lot more work than he thought. And then just to button that up, I asked him afterwards, like, so does that mean like, sometimes you have an opportunity to run, but you're walking the ball up the floor because you're going to have to expend a lot of energy when you get to the other end of the floor. And he's like, low key, like, yes. So like, Jaylen had to work extraordinarily hard in that Brooklyn game to get his buckets, and he got a lot of buckets. So ultimately, like, they don't win this game without him in the second half, right? He was critical to them winning this game. So that alone tells you it was more good than bad, even though the 8 turnovers were really not good turnovers. But I think what we're seeing, what we saw in that game is this whole season already has been a lot more work than he expected. And Brooklyn was unique. They threw a lot of big athletic bodies at him, but
often on the same play.
Yeah.
There were a lot of guys coming at Jaylen Brown all at the same time.
Yes. And so I wonder, I'll just throw it out there that he's not playing as fast as he maybe had wanted to in the past, because he knows that when you get down to the other end, it's like, all right, here we go. I'm going to just conserve my energy here, because when I get there, it's going to be me against 3-4 guys. And I kind of have to do it that way sometimes. And that's going to lead to some of these games where, the turnovers aren't going to be great, or he's going to be a little too tired, or his head's not going to be entirely there, because it's just like so much work and effort.
Yeah. And I think you saw that a lot yesterday, like you were saying, right? Like there's like, there were at least 2, maybe 3 baskets where he gets by a guy, is like running as hard as he can into the lane, jumps, has to make contact with somebody else before he can even get the ball up there to put it in. And it's like that when he talks about like expending energy, like when he talks about like, okay, this is like I'm up for it, but there's a cost to all of that, right? There is a physical cost, and it's like it very much is like a sports car or just a car in general, right? You have a certain amount of gas in your tank, and you're driving up a hill, and like you got to push on the gas a little bit harder, and that uses a little bit more gas. And throughout these NBA games, like Jaylen has to like think about, okay, when am I going to stomp on the gas? And when am I going to when am I going to take off, crash into this guy, and still muscle the ball up and in? Like that takes an extraordinary amount of effort. And he's done a really good job of it so far, like really impressive stuff. But I mean, yeah, of course, it's so much harder this season. It was you know, it was always going to be harder this season, even even before Tatum went down, right? Like when they knew that there were going to be guys who were going to have to not be on the roster anymore. Like this was going to be a hard season for Jaylen Brown, but yeah, no, it the quote makes a lot of sense. It's very interesting to see him and hear him realize it in real time of like, whew, it is game 14 and I'm kind of tired, man. Like this is a lot.
Yo, that game, he was just throwing himself into bodies.
Yeah.
Throwing himself. I've never seen him just do that and kind of have that be the plan. Like I saw him do it in his first couple of seasons when he had no plan and he would drive and just be like, I'm just going to drive into people and try to dunk everything and dunk over everybody. I think that game against Brooklyn was, look, I'm going to challenge these guys, but I don't think he had the burst to, like, he could have, and maybe last season he would have dunked on a couple of these guys, but he didn't dunk on anybody. He didn't put anybody in a poster. He was just, let me just go, boom, throw it up there, get those guys to kind of put their hands down and force the refs to make a call.
Yep.
If anything, the most impressive stat that he did that, got super, super tired and was 8 of 10 from the free throw line. Like he shot 80%. Like Jaylen shooting 80% at all is historically like pretty good. That he did that as tired as he looked was impressive. So, okay. So we figured out that it's probably mostly more good game than bad, but we never answered. Did he get
really quick? I know we're running long, but it's very interesting that Jaylen can have an 8 turnover game this year and still have it be a good game, because any 8 turnover game from Jaylen Brown in previous seasons, horrible, trash, F-, throw it in the trash. That's not what this was. That's
a good point. That is a good point. A great point, because yes, he's had 8 turnover games before or close to that, and it's just looked awful. Yeah, and he's been awful. For him to be like 29-4-4 and have us be like, nah, okay. Upon further review, it's better than maybe we thought before. Yeah. So yeah, important. But okay. So did he get benched in the first half? Well, we'll answer that question definitively, for sure. Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely. Maybe when we come back. Today's show is brought to you by Quo. Business owners, you know, the worst thing that can happen to you is a missed call. When somebody tries to reach you and can't get through, that is money slipping away. Quo, spelled Quo, is a smarter way to run your business communication so you never miss an opportunity. Quo is the #1 business phone system built for 2025, not 1995. It's simple, modern, and designed to help you communicate faster, look more professional, and stay connected when you're working. Quo works right from an app on your phone or your computer. No extra devices, no clunky landlines. I feel like this whole thing is a shot at me and my childhood. The built-in AI is a game changer. It logs your calls, it writes summaries, and even sets up follow-ups automatically. And if you can't answer, Quo's AI agent jumps in. It can qualify leads, route calls, and make sure no customer is ever left hanging, even after hours. Try Quo for free at quo.com/LockedOnNBA. Quo.com/LockedOnNBA. And you can even keep your existing number. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. Today's show is also brought to you by Roulette. Let's stop making excuses. You know, the ones like, it's just stress, I'm tired. It happens to everyone sometimes. When it comes to performance, sometimes your body just needs a little extra support. That's where Roulette comes in. It's fast-acting, doctor-prescribed treatments for ED designed to help you stop making excuses and start making moves. Go to Roulette.com. It's easy to get started. You get connected with a board-certified doctor 100% online. No awkward waiting rooms, no in-person appointments. If prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly, straight to your door. Process is fast, simple, and private, and it's all handled by real doctors. Visit Roulette.com, RUGIET.com/LockedOnNBA. You'll get 15% off your first order. Roulette, RUGIET.com/LockedOnNBA. Make sure you use that code LockedOnNBA so they know we sent you. Roulette, stop making excuses. Start making moves. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day and making the Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcasting network around everywhere. Now, continue that by going to Locked On NBA Game Night. I'm going to be hosting Game Night tonight, moving over a day. So we're recording this before the games start. I will be there with Tony East of Locked On Pacers to cover the entire night in the NBA. So go check that out. Whenever you're done with this podcast, go check out Locked On NBA Game Night. It's on the same feed as Locked On NBA, wherever you found this podcast. All right, Tom, let's go down through Jaylen Brown. Because after the game, he was asked about playing only 10 minutes in the first half. And he was like, yeah, it's just Joe holding me accountable. I'm like, okay, did he? Okay.
Right.
Well, okay. So Jaylen comes out 5:33 to go in the first quarter, which is about right. 6-minute mark, 5-minute mark. That's
Very
normal.
reasonable. Yep.
Brooklyn's up 21-11. Celtics go on an 18-8 run to close the first quarter. So it's 29-29. So Joe kind of rides with it. Jaylen comes back at 8:36 in the second quarter. So he lets that unit ride a little bit longer, and they get to I don't know if it's the first TV timeout or whatever, but he lets it ride a little bit longer. Jaylen comes in, the run extends to 26-13. It's 46-44 Boston when he comes out. Now, I don't know if Joe said maybe he's tired. I don't think Joe said I'm benching him for any extended amount of time, because he played half of the first quarter and he played in the second quarter. It's not like it's not like he didn't play in the second quarter. He came in, the stint was shorter, but he played. And it's not like they sucked. They were up 3 when he came back. They were up 2 when he came out. It's not like they were horrible.
Yeah.
Jaylen wasn't great turnover wise, but this does not seem like a benching to me. This just seems like we rolled with something, a different lineup that was working. We're just going to let Jaylen get a little extra rest, and he played like most of the second half. Yeah. So none of this sounds like a benching to me.
I agree. I think if you told me, okay, like Jaylen Brown is going to play, what did we figure out it was? 10 minutes in the first half. Is that what we figured out? Yeah. 10 minutes. If you told me Jaylen Brown was going to play 10 minutes in the first half, I would say, okay, then I assume he played a lot the second half. And the answer is yes, he did. He played the entire third quarter and he played 9:33 of the fourth quarter. So that just sounds natural, right? Like I would just be like, there's not anything that's too jarring to me about him not playing much in the first half. You and I have had this conversation. I don't remember if it was on the podcast or off, but about how coaches are trying this out some this year, right? Like trying different ways to keep a guy's minutes within, in check, but like make sure that he's out there as much as you can in the second half. Like try that out. Like that sounds a lot more to me like what happened here was that, Jaylen didn't super have it in the first half. That doesn't mean he's getting benched. That just means that a lineup played pretty well. And like, again, Joe will 100% let a lineup that is rolling keep rolling. Like there's no reason to break that up. They just went on an 18-8 run and got you back in the game, right? Like you just let that lineup keep cooking a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think, sometimes I think Jaylen, he's like Jaylen's kind of like a big thinker, right? Like he has like, I think he takes like a very overarching view of things sometimes. And I think if you look at that game and you're Jaylen Brown, you could think like, yeah, man, I was really bad in that first half. Joe's holding me accountable because I'm a leader. And I think it might just be a lot more simple than that. I think it might just be a lot more just like, nah, Joe was just like doing some lineup stuff. And that's how this broke down. It's like a lot more granular than Jaylen Brown likes to be. I think Jaylen likes to think about things on a much grander scale, which is very much to his credit, but also just didn't necessarily, to my mind, represent what happened in yesterday's Tuesday night game between the Brooklyn Nets and Boston Celtics in November.
It screams like not saying that Jaylen is Michael Jordan, but it's and I took that personally kind of moment of like, well, Joe, like he needs it to be Joe was holding me accountable in his own head.
Yeah,
So
and I
he
am
could be like,
accountable because I am a leader, and Joe was right, and I'm going to be better because I'm better. I'm better. Let's go. And it's like, no,
that's it.
sure.
That's it right there.
Sure.
That's exactly it. That's what Jaylen needs it to be. Whatever it actually was. No, and look, there are plenty of times when Jaylen says stuff at the podium, and you're like, oh, okay, that sounds good, and then well, I think I just had a little video glitch there. Sorry, but anyway, it's not that. It's not what Jaylen said it was going to be. And so, yeah, but Joe, this brings us to the lineups because Joe, he's got no choice but to try different lineups. And you know that Jaylen's going to be working, like we said before, extraordinarily hard to score and to, maybe too hard in some instances, right? Like if other guys don't have it, or if Jaylen feels like the need, like, okay, today I've got to do more today, whatever, then you have to kind of almost protect him from himself.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you let him play 36 minutes, then Jaylen, who's already dealing with the hamstring stuff, are you going to let him play 36, 38 minutes with that workload, with that much effort, with that much usage? He's near the top of the NBA. I haven't even checked today, but he's at the top of the NBA in usage rate. Like you have to kind of protect him a little bit. And so you go to different lineups. You go to a little more Anthony Simons. You go to a little bit something different. And that brings me to the lineup that broke the game open against Brooklyn.
Yeah,
which
Jaylen, just real quick. Yes, 100 percentile in usage, 35%.
Yeah, right.
Per cleaning the glass. Yep.
Top of the league.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll get to the evolving lineups here, and the one that broke the game open that never played a second of basketball together, and it was none of the new guys. That's all coming up next. Today's show is brought to you by Skims. When I found out that Skims was making underwear for men, I had a pretty nice reaction because my wife's been telling me about Skims all along. She's been a Skims consumer for a while, and she said, "You're going to love it." And I said, "Okay, it makes sense to me." And she's right. A lot of us will go to like freaking big box store and buy our underwear in bulk with like 10 pounds of chicken and 3 tubs of peanut butter. That's not where you should be buying your underwear. We're adults. We're grown men. You can go to Skims and get yourself real underwear that feels good. It fits right. No slipping, no sagging, no adjusting. I like the Stretch 5-inch boxer brief. It's just made the right way. It feels soft, supportive, and comfortable. They don't ride up. They don't lose their shape. They stay exactly where they're supposed to stay, which is important because I wear them to the gym a lot. And, I'm on the elliptical. I'm up and down off of a bench. They're not riding up. I'm not like doing has anybody looking as I adjust myself? Like that. You don't want to be that. And you're not that with Skims. So go check it out. Skims Men's is now available at skims.com. When you place the order, choose podcast in the post-purchase survey and select this show from the drop-down menu to let them know that we sent you. Plus, the Skims holiday shop is open. So if you're looking for the perfect gift this season, Skims has you covered. Today's show is also brought to you by FanDuel. We're here in the NBA season, and there's no better place to get started than FanDuel, which I'm not getting my graphic here. But anyway, FanDuel can help you keep the game exciting because it has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. So if you miss the start of the game, no problem. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. Keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making the late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving you a new customer $5. If you bet $5, you get $300 in bonus bets when your first bet wins. So head on over to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel. When you sign up, they will ask you to set a budget, set a limit. Do that, and it will help you gamble responsibly. Only set what you can afford to lose. And then if you hit a cold streak, FanDuel steps in and lets you wait until you get refill that. So don't worry about it. Gamble responsibly at FanDuel.com, official sports betting partner of the NBA. Thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen. Now, there's my graphic. All right. Thanks for making Locked On Celtics the number one sports podcasting network. Let me start over here. I'm not going to edit this out. Thanks for making Locked On the number one sports podcasting network on the planet. And Locked On Celtics, the number one Celtics podcast on the planet. Appreciate that. Appreciate you every day who are with me every Monday through Friday. Subscribe. It's free everywhere. Show is on YouTube. Get into the comment section there. All right, Tom. With the score,
you turned it over 8 times, but you had a good ad read. It was good.
It was okay. It was okay. You should have benched me in the middle of the first one.
I was muted. I tried. Yeah.
The Celtics had a lineup of Sam Hauser, Neemias Queta, Baylor Shireman, Jaylen Brown, and Derek White on the floor. And that's when Sam made the steal, which was Terrence Mann stepping on Sam Hauser's foot, falling, and then Sam going, "Oh, I'll take that. Thank you." And that starts a run. It was, I think Jaylen just hit a free throw. So it was 90-90. The Celtics went on a 7-0 run, and that's where they broke the game open. And after the game, I was like, Hauser, Queta, Shireman, Brown, and White. I don't remember those guys playing much together. That's because they never, not once, not for 1 second. And thinking of that combination, I can't imagine that would even be a combination in practice.
Yeah.
That would have gotten any run. This may be the first 5-on-5 action that group has ever gotten.
Yeah.
And they won them the game.
Yeah. Yeah. It reminded me. So sometimes I take my son to the local gas station and I let him get like a slushie, and he does the thing that kids do where they're just like, so many options.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like putting new ones in. And it's like, he creates these horrific flavors. And I think, and part of it, right? Like they're their own unique flavor. They've never been tried before, right? But the reason they've never been tried before is because one of them was pumpkin spice for some reason. You know what I mean? And it's like, I think you look at like that lineup and it's like, yeah, that lineup has never been tried before because there was, there was a pumpkin spice and then like mango or some other flavor that like is very rare. But in previous seasons, you didn't see that much Queta and you didn't see that much Shireman, and you certainly didn't see it with your classic cherries like your Jaylen Brown, right? So it was like just a very strange amalgamation of different flavors there.
So Shireman pumpkin spice?
I think so. So. Yeah, the kind of the white girl fall thing going on. Yeah, I think so.
Sure. Yeah, okay. I can see that. Joe has to mix and match. And like Sam Hauser, it was funny. I did a radio thing in Maine and they asked me, like, did Sam Hauser sound like maybe not disgruntled to you, but like a little gruntled? And I was like, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, Sam came into the season as like the starter, and then he went to the bench pretty quickly. He had 2 starts and that was it. Then Hugo Gonzalez got a start. Then Josh Minott got 9 starts. And then Jordan Walsh got 3 starts. And like, if you're Sam Hauser, you're like, okay, all of these guys are better to start than me. And maybe the answer is like, yeah, but this was the game where I wouldn't be surprised if Sam Hauser moved back into the starting lineup.
I think it's coming. Yeah.
Yeah. Like if he's out there getting like his fourth quarter was really good. Cause he had like 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. He was a +12. All of those led the team. And that's when your shot's not falling and it finally actually started to fall a little bit. You got to do the other things. And I think the lineup dance that Joe is doing is somebody do the other things consistently. The way I see it, Tom, you play around the world, right? You shoot from different spots. The way I always played around the world was if you make the shot, you move to the next spot. If you miss that shot, you go back to the previous spot. And like that's That's how I played. And you can play it around the 3-point line or up and down the lane. So you get you got like 5, 6, 7 spots, depending. And to me, that's what this is. Can any one guy make 5, 6, 7 shots in a row? Can somebody do enough where you're like, okay, I've gotten this far. I'm going to go back one spot, but Joe, I've gotten so far that Joe's going to give me time to see if I can get back to, if you go all the way around the world, congratulations, you've won and you're going to be a regular starter. But none of these guys have become regular starters. Like Josh lost his spot. I don't know if Jordan Walsh is going to lose his spot because he had a tough game with the fouls. Now here's Sam again with a great fourth quarter. So I don't know who's going to win this game around the world.
Yeah. I think that's a good comparison. I think, and I think that's what, like Joe does seem to really want these guys to be like going at each other, like not going at each other, but like to like have a level of desperation here. Right. Like, I think that's what, if I don't know what he's saying in the locker room, but like the implicit message to me very much seems to be just like, yeah, no, you got to fight for your spot. That could be literally anybody. Sam, that could be anybody. Jordan, that could be anybody. Like, go fight for that spot because it is not promised to you. And if you're Sam Hauser, right? Like, you've had a few games here where like, your minutes are down, you're not starting. And like, we just said like, and I took that personal. He should take that personal. He's an NBA champion. He's been around. He's a veteran. He's been around for a while. He's played in huge games. And you're losing your spot to Josh Minott and Jordan Walsh. Like,
yeah,
you should take that personal. You should come out and do a bunch of little things, even if your shot isn't falling, because you've been in much bigger positions than a Tuesday night in Brooklyn in November. Like that's like it's just kind of what it is. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a very interesting way to go about things. I mean, I think that there are, I don't know. I'd be curious to know how many coaches in the NBA can get away with it, with doing this kind of thing, because like the guys do kind of buy in on Joe, I think, because Joe is very much himself all the time. Right. And so like, they're like, okay, like Joe has a reason for doing this. He's not doing this to single me out. He's not doing this because he doesn't like me personally. He's doing this because he has a system. I think that seems to have gotten through to a lot of these guys. So I don't know how many coaches could pull this kind of like rotating cast of characters off. But I think Mazzulla can. I think that's, I think it's probably going to work for him.
I think Joe has demonstrated to these guys that he does actually care. Like Joe truly, and I'm not just saying this, like he truly does care about his players. And he doesn't want bad things for any of them. At the same time, he expects in return for his devotion to his players production and 100% effort, 100% production, and the understanding that we are here for one common goal, and that is to win,
to have a little
NBA
fun
basketball games. Yeah, don't buy into that, kid. Don't buy into it. That's a cop out. Have we talked about that on this podcast?
I don't think we did. I think I pitched it, and then we ended up talking about other things.
Man.
But
we gotta. That was such a great answer, but at the same time, the way he said it to that kid was like, don't believe it, man. It's these pigs in Washington, man. They're gonna get you.
They sell you on the fun, and then you go nowhere.
Very George Carlin kind of like, it's a scam. Don't buy into it, kid. When you grow up, don't say it. It was so funny, but also like when you listen to it, it was you got to define fun. Like you can't just be like, well, this isn't going anywhere. Let's just have some fun. Like, but that's exactly what Joe's doing here with the lineups. Yeah. It's not like, let's just have some fun. It's no, our job is to win games as members of the Boston Celtics. And I'm sorry if you personally don't like what's happening. If you don't like it, do something about it. That's on you.
Mhm.
I am going to go with the guy who can do something most often, most consistently. And I don't care who it is. I'm not playing favorites. If you don't do it, I will go to somebody else who will. And the problem for all of these guys is none of them is really capable of doing it consistently, because Sam is an incredible shooter that goes through slumps. And if he has bad matchups and he's not defending, then that can be a little messy. Josh Minott can do a lot of things, but not all the time. Jordan Walsh, same thing. Hugo Gonzalez is too young. Even though he has experience, he's 19. He's still figuring out the NBA. All of these guys, Baylor Shireman, none of these guys is good enough to be consistent. Sam is probably the closest because he's been around long enough and he understands what Joe wants. But if, again, getting to the other end of around the world, you got to do all of these things consistently long enough for Joe to be like, okay, this is it. Because like we started with the show, Jaylen didn't get benched. He can have 8 turnovers. He's in there in the fourth quarter.
He's been around the world many times.
Many times.
Literally and in a basketball sense. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But these guys, they're not Jaylen, they're not Peyton, they're not Derek. And that's kind of where that list ends.
Yeah.
Those 3 guys is where this list ends. Everyone else has the potential to be caught up in this lineup thing. And hey, like, go earn it. And I think that's the number one thing for Joe. You have to earn it. And if you don't, I'm not going to give it to you. What's the point? Like, nothing is given. So that's it.
Yep.
All right. Well, we figured things out.
Definitively. Yeah.
Sort of.
No, for sure. I'm strong on this one. Jaylen had a good game. He wasn't benched, and that's it. That's what we figured out.
All right. Fair enough.
It's pretty good.
Okay. Thanks, Tom.
Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, Tom. Appreciate you, listener, watcher, viewer here on the YouTube page or in your car, in the shower, listening, all that stuff, walking your dog, wherever you are. Hello. Thank you. Thank you for getting all the way to the 37.5-minute mark. Ooh, that's way too much. But we just have fun here on the Locked On Celtics podcast. So thank you for subscribing. Become an everydayer. Join your fellow Celtics fans Monday through Friday here. It's free. It's available everywhere. It's on the YouTube page. Get into the comment section. Let us know what you think about everything that we've talked about and share the podcast. Tell everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.